Many apps have failed to get a deal on Shark Tank, then gone on to make tens of millions of dollars. Ring is probably the most famous. It came on Shark Tank seeking $700,000 for 10% of the company. The shark said no, and Ring would later be sold to Amazon for $1 billion. But other apps have experienced this, and in this video, I'll be sharing 5 hand-picked examples. And it's fun to gush over app success stories. This channel is all about learning. So stick to the end for a takeaway from all these examples that will apply to any entrepreneur who wants to build a successful app. Number 1. Coffee meets Bagel. That's right, Coffee Meets Bagel is a Shark Tank dropout. It appeared in Season 6, Episode 13, where the sisters and co-founders of the app came on seeking $500,000 for 5% of their business. Like those twins in The Shining. The Sharks were of course skeptical about yet another dating app, but the sisters explained their USP. Instead of your Tinders and Bumbles where users get shown tons of other users, on Coffee Meets Bagel, you get shown a curated short list of high potential matches every day at noon. Also, you can get the app access to your Facebook account where it will take mutual friends into consideration when finding matches. It's not mandatory though. You can register with your phone number, but it's a nice option to have since in real life, it's more common to date friends of friends instead of total strangers. So it's meant for something more serious. It sounds like an app-based arranged marriage, but who am I to stand in the way of love? At the time of pitching, they already have hundreds of thousands of users and were on track to make $1 million in revenue that year. So the business model and app were validated. They could have just grown it organically. But they didn't want to grow. They want to scale. That is how apps like these normally work. Unfortunately, none of the sharks wanted to swipe right on Coffee Meets Bagel.
I'm out.
Mark kind of offered something.
If I offered you $30 million for the company, would you take it?
I'll be honest, for $30 million, I would have gotten on my knees with my mouth open. But the sisters only opened their mouth to say no. They would go on to raise funds to grow the app, and as of 2024, multiple sources estimate that Coffee Meets Bagel is worth around $150 million with an annual revenue of $16 million. It's got millions of users and is apparently the second most popular app in Singapore, right next my door. Number 2. Pavlok. In terms of revenue, Pavlok is the smallest on this list. But in terms of balls, it's the biggest. It appeared on episode 29 of season 7, and the moment I saw the founder walk in and make this expression, I knew he wouldn't get any money. But we would be getting quite a show. His name was Manish Sethi, and he was seeking $500,000 for 3.14% of his company. His product was an app plus wearable product hybrid called Pavlok. It's a wristband that delivers a non-lethal current to shock you into breaking habits. You control the current level via a mobile app. Good luck if someone gets hold of your phone. The sharks started laughing at him and at his product, and they tried it on and he zapped the shit out of them. Then he and Mark start arguing because the studies Manish cited were not done using Pavlok itself, but the treatment it's based on. So Mark called Pavlok a scam, and Manish pulls this expression. One by one, all the sharks went out except Kevin, Mr. Wonderful.
I'm really valuable.
And if you know Shark Tank, you don't want Kevin to be the only shark in because he will squeeze you. So Kevin makes an offer and Manish say this.
I would take an offer from anybody besides Mr. Wonderful.
He also said that his main goal is to break bad habits, and he was worried that with Kevin as an investor, the business would focus too much on making money. And that's why I think he's got balls to say that on TV where it will be seen by other potential investors. Takes guts. But it's a fairly happy ending. As of 2024, Pavlok is still alive and kicking it. I found an article on a blog dedicated to following up on Shark Tank products from 2022 that said it was already making $600,000 in annual revenue. And according to Get Letka, it made $760,000 in 2023. Their site looks great. and they have a humble but decent-sized subreddit, which is how I measure any product. I'm happy for the guy, but I'm surprised he's made so much money selling a wristband with a battery. In fact, I'm not surprised, I'm shocked at how well placed this pitch is. My team and I at Upside Studio help non-technical entrepreneurs grow past $5 to $10 million in annual revenue with custom software. We've worked with over 30 leading brands across industries. These businesses were stuck where no ready-made solution on the market solved their problem. To continue growing, they had to make their own solution. If your business is also currently stuck at this 5 to 10 million level and you want to explore custom solutions, let me help. There's a link in the description to sign up for a free, no strings attached strategy session. We'll dissect your current constraint together and you get an honest opinion about whether custom software is your answer. And if yes, we decide if we can work together. If it's not, you just save yourself from a very big investment with no ROI. Apply through the link and we'll be in touch. I'm only taking 3 of these calls per month and it's first come, first serve. So if you want to work with me, apply now. Back to the video. Number 3, simple habit. 2024 net worth. Annual revenue of $34 million with a net worth of $20 million. We jump to episode 3 of season 9 where Simple Habit founder Kim Yun-ha was seeking $600,000 for 5% of the company. Simple Habit is a meditation marketplace app. That's the real USP. Instead of how a lot of other meditation apps work, which is to have one guru or one speaker as the focus, on Simple Habit, users can browse from a wide selection of different meditation gurus. Some cool figures Yun-ha shared. They already had 500,000 users and $750,000 in revenue, and they had raised $2.8 million. So she didn't really need the money, which is why when a couple of sharks made her a counter offer of $600,000 for 15%, she declined. Then we got a couple of iconic scenes. First, Mark calls her a gold digger.
But that's what she is. She's a gold digger. She's a gold digger.
No, she's not a gold digger.
And then Richard Branson goes white knight on him.
Tell you what I
Lovely. Anyway, no Shark Tank deal, but Simple Habit would go on to sell for an undisclosed amount in 2023 to Ingenio, a huge wellness marketplace. Under new management, the app is said to be making well over $30 million annually, with 1 million downloads on Google Play Store and almost 80,000 ratings on Apple App Store. Meanwhile, Yun-ha founded another 7-figure app in the wellness space called Sleep Reset, which achieved $1.86 million in annual revenue just 9 months after launching. Number 4, Chexology. We're going way back to the first episode of season 4. Derek Paquet was a recent business school graduate seeking $200,000 for 10% in his coat valet app. The problem: in winter, when people wore coats and went into a restaurant or club, they would have to hold on to it or dump it with the other coats where it might get stolen. I've lost a few umbrellas this way, and a coat cost way more, so I see the problem. So Derek's solution, which was called Coat Checks at the time, was an integrated system that would take a photo of you when you handed in your coat so the attendant knows who dropped it off. Then you pay a small fee and you're done. Unlike the previous 3 entries, Coat Checks was super new, it had 0 sales up to that point. And wherever you approach investors without sales, you can pretty much expect this response.
Horrible! Horrible idea!
So despite the fact that Derek had a business model and a plan for distribution and growth, the sharks said no. Except Mark, who wanted 33% of $200,000, a lot higher than Derek's 10% offer. Derek called his business partner, who was also his professor from business school. Then he went back to the sharks and said he was seeking investment too soon and would continue growing the business first. Basically, no thanks. Fast forward to today, Coat Checks has been renamed to Chexology and according to multiple sources has made $5.1 million in revenue. Checking their site, they've grown their verticals to include hotels, valet services, equipment rentals, and of course the original quote checking system. And from 0 locations during the Shark Tank episode, they are now all over the US, with a few clients in the UK and Australia. It doesn't snow in Sydney, so I have no idea why they're wearing coat down there. But of all the white people in the world, Aussies are the weirdest. Don't believe me? Check out this clip from a documentary on Australian culture.
About to be your wife? I didgeridoo. And now, if there are any spiders the size of dinner plates that object to this marriage, please speak now or forever hold your peace.
Number 5. Scan. Our last entry is from episode 4 of season 5, where Garrett Gee was seeking $1 million for 5% of Scan, an NFC scanning code. That meant this man was asking for a $20 million valuation in sleepers. So what does Scan do? It helps users easily scan barcodes, QR codes, and NFC codes. A simple enough product, but to be fair, the potential user base is everyone. Which is why when Garrett was asked how many users they had, he did a big move. It showed a live counter that was already at 51 million and growing per second. He also shared that the previous month, the app was used to scan a code 27 million times. And then the big question, what is the USP here? There were tons of code scanners even back then. Garrett explains that with Scan, they don't just scan codes. Businesses can create custom codes based on whatever user journeys they want. So if I were a business owner, I could go on to Scan's site and create a custom QR code that links directly to a product I have on sale. Garrett said they were already making $30,000 a month from a few of their bigger clients this way. Very smart. But $30,000 per month isn't so impressive when you're asking for $1 million. So the sharks went out. And Mark Cuban even added that he had a feeling QR codes would soon be obsolete. This was in 2013, by the way. It's not a knock on Mark, but it shows how hard it is to predict the future. And no one could have predicted what would happen just 1 year later. In 2014, Scan was sold to Snapchat for $54 million, more than double the valuation during the Shark Tank episode. And I love how Garrett is now a serial hustler entrepreneur. He got his bag and said, "I'm out." He and his wife sold their belongings and now travel the world. They've got a YouTube channel called The Bucket List Family with 1.5 million subs, and according to an article, the channel's success is now funding their expenses. So happy for you, Garrett. So that's the last example. Now you're green with jealousy. Let's see what the average entrepreneur can learn from this. The Shark Tank effect. There's this thing known as the Shark Tank effect. Basically, it doesn't matter whether or not you strike a deal. Just appearing on the show is going to give your business a huge boost in sales. Even the entries on this list have sections on their platform dedicated to their Shark Tank appearances. Why? They want that SEO, baby. It's called the Shark Tank effect. But really, it's just the effect of hundreds of millions of people seeing you advertise your product for 5 minutes. It doesn't sound as catchy though. So Shark Tank effect it is. Every entrepreneur in my list had a great product, or at least they were already well past the MVP stage. Even code checks were like 95% there, just hadn't sold anything yet. But you can have the world's best app, and if nobody knows about it, it might as well just be the worst. You need eyeballs. So Shark Tank is a very extreme example, and it's definitely not easy to get on. But if you're building an app, there are so many online platforms that you should be hitting. AppSumo, Product Hunt, Indie Hackers, Reddit, X, LinkedIn, YouTube. Consider paid ads, and so much more. Doesn't mean you hit all of them. Well, you should if you can. But since you don't have unlimited energy, find out where your audience is and go to them. Don't just dump your app on the App Store and wait. I'm not promoting myself here, but just to highlight an example of hustling in my last Micro SaaS Ideas video, I featured successful examples from Reddit. Someone from one of the SaaS entries got in touch with me and said thanks because it was directing leads to them and asked if I would do a sponsored video. Before I get spammed, I don't think I want to accept money to feature entries because that would make compiling lists very difficult. If you want to just sponsor the next SaaS idea videos like this, and I give your product a quick 30-second shout out, get in touch. But to everyone else, the takeaway here is you need a good app and you need good marketing. But first, you need something to build. And really, you should be building, validating, and marketing at the same time. As for what to build, what to validate, and what to market, we always go back to finding a problem that needs a solution. Check out this video where I give 3 sources you can turn to find your $1 million problem. Meanwhile, please do me a favor and subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the thumbs up. That way, this message will reach more people just like you who can benefit from it. I want to help more non-tech entrepreneurs get their apps launched efficiently, cost-effectively, and without tearing their hair out, and make them aware of all the headaches and potential rewards that come with building apps. And so for that to happen, I need support from you guys. Doesn't cost you anything, and it tells the algorithm that this Adrian Ching guy might know what he's talking about, and this message can reach and help more people. Thank you so much, and let's find your $1 million app ID.